Hello, I'm Kevin Eccles, Mayor of the Municipality of West Grey, and welcome to Showcase West Grey. Around here at this time of the year, we start thinking about maple syrup, the syrup festivals that are going on, whether it's in Holstein or Belmore or a number of other different places where we have those. But when we're thinking about maple syrup, we really think about the bush, the maple bushes. And one of the first ones in West Grey that I think of, and everybody else I believe out there that gets into maple syrup will think of, is Uncle Richard's maple syrup. And today I have one half, not the better half, but one half of Uncle Richard's maple syrup. Mr. O'Brien.
Good to be here. And by the way, somebody else this morning said Gail should be here instead.
Richard, we're both kidding around, but Richard, in partnership with his good wife Gail, runs Uncle Richard's Maple Syrup. And it has certainly become a full-time business for you, for a retiree out of the big city to come up here and all of a sudden find a new career. Whatever possessed you to start getting into maple syrup? Okay.
Well, it's like so many things in life, Kevin. I actually bought the farm as an escape from the city.
Yes.
Because I needed somewhere to go out and just get away and get my sanity back. And I searched within 2 hours of Toronto when I was looking, and I kept coming back to Grey Bruce. In a large part by somebody who used to be on the Economic Development Committee for you, and that's Brian Padfield.
Yes.
He kept promoting West Grey and Grey County as a great place to come. So we did find a property, and you have got to know me quite a bit. There were trees on it. They were maple trees. And I figure, in this province, in this country, you have maple trees. You should make an attempt to tap them to get the elixir that nature provides. So I started to tap a few trees. It was a small hobby for the family, i.e. Uncle Richard's. I've got 19 nieces and nephews. It was a family thing. It was a gathering in the spring. It was that harbinger of spring. They'd all come up. The label was done purely for family. And that's basically how we got into it. And you said maple syrup, and it's true, but we also branched into maple syrup and supplies.
Yes, I know you do a lot of that supply stuff, and you've taken over and become a major player, I believe, in southwestern Ontario, or Ontario and even across the border.
Yes, we do. We ship into the States. We ship in a lot of Ontario. And it's turned in, as you said, to a very full-time occupation. But you know something? It's so much better than the city.
Yes, we do know that very much, and sometimes I'm a little bit dubious of not promoting it. I'm a little jealous, and I just want to keep it all to myself. But the world has found us, and certainly you're one of those types of people that have come up and become part of the community, and we're very thankful for that. You were saying you started out. You probably started out with a couple of buckets and went around and picked them up by horse or by the little tractor and boiled on the kitchen stove or something like that.
You've been talking to your cousin about how they used to do it. Watch them.
Well, not how they used to do it. I know that's how I used to do it too when we lived back in Egremont. It's developed quite a bit from that. Tell us about how many trees and some of the technology that you're involved with now.
Okay, and by the way, we still have some of the tourist buckets for the people that come in so they can see how it used to be done. Well, not going back to the wooden spiles of Indian time and using the rocks, but the buckets, and people can still taste sap, so they know what it is, that Indian word for sweet water, as you will well know.
Yes. Got kicked many times. Don't drink out of the sap bucket.
Exactly. And we did a few buckets. Then we started to do a little bit of pipeline. And anybody who knows me knows that if you're going to get into something, you might as well get into it and do it. So we just kept expanding and expanding. And we're up to about 3,000 taps at this point, plus the supply business, which does keep us occupied. We do about 20 shows a year around the province. And I have to tell you, when we do these shows, the biggest question we get is somebody will pick up a bottle and look at it and say, "Where's Priceville?" So we have actually been doing a lot of work promoting West Grey, Grey County. We take publications, some of the tourist publications with us. We have a brochure ourselves, which I haven't got here today, but has a map on it that shows Grey County. So we are out there promoting Grey County and West Grey so people will learn where it is. It's actually better than being in Durham, because if our address was Durham, people say, I know where that is, but they'd have the wrong one. They'd be east of Toronto.
Yes, yeah. And that still happens on more than occasions that we want to talk about.
So I refer to the real Durham.
The original.
No, I say the real one.
So you get started into the business. Where's your mark? What's the business hours back on the farm at Priceville, and where do your products take place?
We sell products, as I say. Gail and I have made a habit of part of our retirement, quote unquote,
retirement,
is we do the shows, but we go out, we stay at local B&Bs supporting local businesses, local restaurants, and we go to some decent ones. This is our weekends away. We're working, but we're promoting Maple, but we're also promoting this part of the country in the supply business. So we make it a weekend away. This is our sort of holiday
working
type
vacation.
of thing. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. And you meet some great people out there. So that's how we're doing it. We do have store hours, and that is basically we're open, as Gail says, 6 days a week, come the 1st of February through to the end of April. And she says she knows she's at home for 6 days a week from there on in if I have to go out. The other time it is by chance or by a phone call. Now, I say that, but normally there is somebody home at this point because our 18-year-old is usually there when we're away. So people do show up, and we are very fortunate in that he's a pretty good kid and looks after people very well. We get great comments about him. So an interesting juxtaposition of what you hear about some 18-year-old. Problems, yes, but he said, you know, Aaron. So
yes. And that's good that it's, and I guess that's how you said you started it, was as a family business, and it's continued on to being that. Back to, you said that you had the spiles, and reverting back, but some of the technology, you talked a little bit about pipeline, but knowing where your farm is, and to give the audience some idea, where the boiler is and everything is up here on the hill. We think of a pipeline as gravity fed down. I've got an understanding that you don't operate on that gravity system very much.
Well, we have gravity, but we also operate by vacuum down into the lowest point, and then actually have a setup down in the lowest point, and we pump it from that point up. And the problem with maple syrup and these modern production facilities, it takes far longer than the 10 minutes that we have today. But Kevin, and we could go on and on, we have products here in front of us that I'm sure they were catching on the camera. Our barbecue sauce has become very famous.
And very good. Let me tell you that.
Some of ours, some are maple jelly or maple butter. But I just want to say I'd love to come back if you want to talk about maple more come maple time, because it's a fairly lengthy technical process. But I also want to just say, as a business in West Grey,
yes,
that what West Grey has to do is keep up the promotion of local businesses, the working with them. I know you're trying to do that. And as one businessman, we want to say thank you. And the other businesses, get that economic development committee going. Put more money into the businesses here, what goes on. That's going to be my pitch for the other businesses.
I think I'm being lobbied here.
No, you're being talked to in a very sensitive type of way, right, because we do have magnificent products and magnificent people here. You had Dick on, Richard Mon with his pottery. We have Tolness. We have all sorts of great people. So thank you for what you're doing, and keep the council working on economic development and promoting the local base.
And that's what this show is certainly about an awful lot, is to give that promotion to yourself, but an introduction to a lot of the people out there.
Right.
Thank you very much for coming in today, Richard, and to everybody out there, get out to the maple syrup and enjoy a piece, a product of West Grey and this part of Ontario.